Just do it like that. There. What's up? Congrats on being the first guy in the stream. How's your day been going? Just gonna get some water. Been pretty good. Honestly, was pretty tired today. I slept in and took a nap, but had a good workout. Watched the Spain versus Belgium game, and I was playing a little bit of UFC. I'm pretty cracked at the new UFC game, so I've been playing a little bit of that. What's up, Super Sniper? Appreciate the comment, man. You're also the GOAT. Obviously, thanks to all my viewers, because I wouldn't be doing what I love if it wasn't for you guys. Cool, man. Yeah, I'm in Division 16 right now. I think this season I'm like, I believe 15-3. Almost in Division 17. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, UFC 4, I got this. I was like top 200 in the world at one point, so I'm pretty good at it. So, Super Sniper, I'm training semi-pro soccer in the UK right now. I have an irritated disc in my lower back, so I'm in the strengthening phase for rehab right now. Yeah, good that you got some help for that. That's what a lot of people tend not to do. They try and figure things out on their own, but in reality, it's best to have someone there that can help you out. For example, whenever I was trying to fix my posture, it's like learning from other people was huge, and now I can actually help other people. So, yeah, that's something that a lot of people try and figure it out on their own. I understand it's cheaper, but getting professional help is just like, it sounds so obvious, but it's so underrated. Greetings. What is your go-to rear delt builder? Well, horizontal pulls, so any sort of row is going to hit the rear delts well. But when it comes to rear delt work, anything that allows you to progressively overload it, like some people like the cable rear delt fly, some people like machine pec deck. Machine pec deck is going to be the easiest one to progress. So as long as you're doing your rows, and then maybe machine pec deck could be a good option. I like the machine pec deck, to be honest. Any advice on growing the biceps? It's my most lacking muscle. No matter what I do, they just won't grow. So in order to build muscle, you need mechanical tension, but like in the long term, think of like increased load over time. So like do a bicep variation, curl variation, just try your best to get stronger at it. That's what I would do. I know it sounds super obvious to some degree, like just get stronger, mechanical tension, but like for the most part, like what I would do is just like have fun training and just like focus on training hard and going close to failure. That's the most important thing. For me, what I found helps me go close to failure, keeping the stack, not cheating, and just like forcing all of the movement to come from the elbow, just elbow flexion. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. I'm 6'6" and 270. How can I lose fat and become lean? I'm a little confused as to why you're giving me your height and weight, because it's the same thing regardless of how big or how small you are. If you want to lose weight, you go into a calorie deficit. What's the best major if you want to do if you want to be a fitness coach? Well, if you want to be a fitness coach, you don't need a degree. You just need, it depends on the person. Like fitness coach is very broad. It's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to specialize in? Really depends. I'll be honest, I don't really use my degree very much. It's just good for credibility. I learned more outside of college. I would say like what makes you a good fitness coach is what you're doing outside of college. That's what makes you good. I'm rooting for England in the World Cup. What do you think about squat stance deadlift? Confused what squat stance deadlift is. Is that the one where you're like kind of like your hands go like in between, but they're not like in between your legs, but they're not sumo? How do I fix forward head posture? Forward head posture is all about improving your breathing. Like your neck is going to shoot forward because it opens up the airway so you can breathe better. So if you want to fix forward head, you want to fix your breathing, and that's a big part of that is expanding your rib cage. It could also be an issue with the pelvis as well, just to make sure that you're looking level. So a lot of it is like getting someone to actually know what's going on. But I would say a good place to start is fixing your breathing would be ideal. What, should I breathe from the stomach or chest? You want 360-degree expansion whenever you're breathing. Like expansion everywhere. Sides, front, back, up, down. Is lifting weights 6 times per week bad? Is it too much for optimal growth? It depends on the person. Like back when I was in college, I got a lot of results lifting 6 times per week. Now I feel like I don't really enjoy going to the gym as much, and I also find myself getting more fatigued. Whenever you start to lift heavier weights, you can get more fatigued. Um, so it really depends. Some people respond well to high volume, some people don't. Is there any exercise for legs that doesn't pressure the lower back because of my irritated disc? All I've been doing is some weighted step ups onto a bench, like a leg press could be a good option. Something with more back support, like machines, like whatever you can find that won't put pressure on your low back and allows you to train legs heavy. Of course, leg isolation work like leg curls and leg extensions that shouldn't put pressure on your low back. How would I ease back into lifting weights after having been weightlifting for a while and focusing more on calisthenics and striking training? Just lift weights, like have your lifting routine. Don't train super intense. Like maybe leave like you know, try like 2 to 3 reps in the tank, and then slowly progress and get more intense and go higher up. I also kind of like introductory weeks, which is like you have a week where you're just like kind of going through the motions to some degree and just getting used to it. And then the next week is when you start to increase the intensity. Would machine preacher curls be better or just classic dumbbell curls for progressive overload? Well, that doesn't really make any sense because if you just increase the weight, it's progressive overload. It doesn't matter what the machine is. Like you can increase dumbbell curls by grabbing a heavier dumbbell. You can improve machine preacher curls by just putting a heavier pin in, right? That's progressive overload. What do you recommend if long femurs cause you to lean forward on squats? Understand that that's just how you squat with your biomechanics. For someone training for hypertrophy and functionality / strength / power, would you suggest every 6 weeks cycling between two plans, hypertrophy, then strength, then power? If not, what would you recommend? I think 6 weeks can be a bit short. Um, and the other thing too is like figuring out what you want to improve primarily and then focus on that and then maintain the other one, or just do a low volume and then figure it out. It's all about reassessing. I box and struggle to find time to weight train on a full body 2 times per week split. right now valid, or are there any better splits for me? Well, if you're lifting 3 days per week is pretty low, so you should have time to do that. Yeah, but I mean, his pre curls are better options and it's more stable. Not inherently. The dumbbell bicep curls aren't unstable. Is 5 to 7 hours of sleep enough sleep for muscle? Well, that question is kind of like, is doing like one set enough for muscle? It's like anything is enough for muscle. Like anything. Is it optimal? No. Is aerobic more important than anaerobic, or both are important? Depends on what your goal is. If you could go over your goal, I can give you a better answer. Ideally, guys, if you want the best answer to your question, you want to ask me the most in-depth question you can ask me. Because, like, for example, is aerobic more important than anaerobic, or both are important? Like, that's super broad to where it's like impossible to answer. What workout plans would you recommend then to someone who would want to adapt to that hybrid training? It depends on what your goal is. It's like if it's just is it just general athleticism? Like I'm a bit confused what the goal is there. Also, you can train everything all at once if you want. It's not ideal, but you can do it. Like sometimes just accepting that like not everything has to be optimal. It's like if you want to hybrid train and run and lift all the time because you enjoy doing both, like is it optimal? No, but like that's okay. Like you're still gonna make progress. Like if you enjoy it, that's fine. Does yawning a lot mean that I don't get enough air in? I don't believe so. It probably just means you're tired. How aesthetic is Justin Gaethje's physique? Honestly, I don't really do that stuff anymore. I think aesthetics are it's just not important in the grand scheme of things. I think feeling good and being more capable is more important. Best version of squat, Zercher, back, front, or other. Again, like just a really broad question like that without like a goal is impossible to answer. Like best version of a squat. If you ask one person, they'll say one. If you ask another person, they'll say what. If you told me best squat variation for someone who has more of a anterior pelvic tilt, Zercher squat, right? It's front loaded, easier to get down. Someone who lacks mobility, okay, a front loaded squat. Someone who's looking to put on more size, back, right? It depends on what the person and also what their goal is. I lift 3 times per week, compound movements. I want to start wrestling soon. How can I balance the two? Zahoob, I'm gonna leave a link to my free community. I just today released a guide on how to build muscle and do combat sports. So just be sure to check out that framework that I have in the community. So be sure to join my free community. There I have a framework, like I just said. I have trouble in sleeping because I'm overthinking. Can you suggest something? Journal before you go to bed. Pray before you go to bed. My right shoulder leans down lower than my left. How do I fix this? You're stuck on the right side. You have to get over to the left side. You need to expand areas of the rib cage, but ideally you have someone that tests you and helps you with any mobility restrictions you have. Tom, you also should join my free community because I have a lecture going over that exact pattern because I had that pattern. So I have a lecture in my community, so be sure to join my free community. I'll have it over here on my other monitor so I can accept you guys. And if you are from the US, UK, Canada, or Australia, be sure to DM me when you join the community because I'll be answering DMs. What's up, Jomar? What's better after a workout, Gatorade or coconut water for electrolytes? I think Gatorade is just like a good, it's just a convenient option every once in a while. But if you're asking for electrolytes, Gatorade is not a good option. Gatorade is there for the carbs. But regardless, after a workout, carbs and protein are important. I like to have a protein shake with orange juice. I know it sounds weird, but it's good. So that's what I have. I like Gatorades if I'm going to play soccer or running and I have a really hard session, but I like to keep them very few and far between because you shouldn't be having a ton of sugar all the time. It shouldn't be something you have daily, Been watching your content for the last 4 years, bro. Loved every bit of it. Keep up the amazing work. Appreciate it. I've only been posting for 3 years, but appreciate it. When you said you don't use your degree, do you think college wasn't really necessary, or you think it's good to learn the basics of what you're majoring in to use that with help with more advanced things? I can see that, but I've learned more outside of college, is what I would say, and on my own, pretty much. How great do you think Bruce Lee's workouts were, and do you think he mixed everything? I'm not too familiar with his workout routine, so don't really know if I can answer that very, very well. You and Mario were funny during the COVID lockdown days. I didn't post during COVID, and neither did he. So might be getting confused with somebody else. Quick question: how to improve cardiovascular? See, those are another one of those questions where it's so broad. It's it's impossible to answer. It's if you can do your best to try and ask specific questions, that will help me answer your question to the best of my ability. It's like me asking you, how do I get smart? It's how do you answer that? I run push, pull, leg, rest, and repeat. I remember you said to change every few months. What should I change? I never said you have to change your split. If something's working well, do it. I think you should change exercise variations every few months, but you don't have to change everything. It's if you're progressing well, why change it? You said I keep getting gassed out, but in what aspect though? In what? Yo, bro, you was roasting bodybuilders and other stuff and loving Leon last time. Remember, lol. Yeah, I just kind of shifted my content strategy. I just didn't really enjoy doing that. Just what exercises? Exercises are not that important. It's the method that's important. I think people are so fixated on exercises. It's for example, locomotion. It's if I say to go, you should use locomotion, right? If you do it at a light intensity, you get different results, which is walking, than mid intensity, which is jogging, which is different results than high intensity, which is sprinting. It depends. Exercises aren't that important. You figure out the training method, then you figure out the volume, then the intensity, then you select exercises. They're fourth on the tier of what you should be considering. Martin Rios conversion to a Muslim arc? Heck no. In fights, I can't even last 3 minutes. Have you built an aerobic base? That's where I would start if you haven't done that. Were you and your brother ever influenced, I think, by any gym influencers when you first started your lifting journey? I liked Athlete X, but I don't really like his. I think he overcomplicates a lot of training nowadays. I think his content kind of sucks now, to be honest. But I don't really watch it, so I might not be an accurate evaluation. I'm pretty sure my legs slightly cave inwards, which makes my knees extremely tired from standing for only 5 minutes. Do you have any videos on realign my legs? Um, I could help you out with that. I would probably book a call with me if you can. It would require a financial investment to work with me, but I can see what's wrong with you. We can discuss what working together would look like. So I'll leave a link if that's something you're interested in. But something like that would require someone to evaluate you and see what's going on because it's more of a global strategy. It's not just at the knees. It could be coming from the hips. It could be coming from your feet. And people also keep adding cardio types and I getting messed up. I don't understand what that means. If you were to start your fitness journey all over again, what split would you do and what in fitness would you focus on? I'd probably do upper lower. What I'm doing now, pretty much upper lower and incorporating like running. I did that for a little bit, but I want to get good at sprints, so I've been doing sprints, and then taking movement seriously because movement is so important for movement and breathing seriously because that's so important for posture and health. So essentially, I would have more of a general health focused approach. Do some flexibility workouts on your knees and other stuff and work on your hips. That's not going to help him because stretching and stuff like that is not addressing the root cause. Like I could have stretched my pecs all day long, but I'm not addressing the nervous system and why that's the case. The fact that his knees cave inward could be an issue where his body lacks a particular range of motion or mobility at the hip. It could be anything, and he needs to do particular breathing drills that would address the movement compensations that he has. Does less equal more progress in the gym? A little bit broad. It's hard to answer that. Best way to breathe during cardio, I usually try to breathe through my nose, but sometimes I breathe in through my nose and out my mouth. Any thoughts? Breathe the way that your body wants to breathe. Your body's going to prioritize breathing. Like, for example, if I'm doing zone 2, I can breathe through my nose, in through my nose. But if I'm going heavy or like really hard, like a max 5K, which I did recently, it's like I'm going to be breathing through my mouth a little bit. Like, it's fine. I don't really overthink the way I breathe. I just try and do whatever my body finds is the most efficient way to breathe. Is it common for ankle injuries to mess up your squat when you return? What do you mean by is it common? How do flat feet affect posture? Well, flat feet often is a strategy that your body uses for some reason, to sense the heels or to sense the arch. But there's a variety of different reasons. Like it's not like a one answer thing. It could be affecting posture. It could be downstream of posture. It depends. Most of the least important in terms of aesthetics. Like I said, I'm kind of venturing off of the aesthetics. I just don't think it's that important. I need to run through these questions here. All right, look, when I look for help in cardio, people keep saying train a lactic, and people make it simple aerobic, anaerobic, and ATCP. Yeah, well, if you just need to build general endurance. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Especially because like aerobics, your aerobic system is not going to be heavily trained when you're fighting. It's because you're doing a lot of explosive combos and stuff. So, but it also depends on someone will need to analyze you and see what is going on, like where you lack. How can I get more lean if I'm overweight? Calorie deficit. I've had many ankle injuries, and now when I return to squatting, I lean to one side. How do I fix this? Improve your ability to push off one side and occupy the other one. What's better for main compound lifts, 3 sets or 4? It depends. There's no right or wrong. Like if there was one answer as to what the best volume was, everybody would be doing it. But it's not the case. It differs between person to person. How do I approach Whoops, that question just went away. How do I approach understanding HRV and training metrics to make adjustments? You have to. I'm a bit confused. Like, what do you mean? How do I approach understanding? Is it possible to get abs by doing compound lifts? Yeah, it's possible. Is it ideal? No. Adding in isolation lifts would, or like crunches and stuff would be the best, but you can do it. Yeah. Would you like more creators to join your movement, or do you really care? Do you really care about that anymore? If you do, I would love to make content with you someday when I'm older. I just make my own content really, and just try and help as many people as I can, and talk about what I'm passionate about. I don't really see it like that. And I have a problem. I can't hit as powerful as I do in first round when I'm at round 2. Yeah, because you're fatigued. Yo, do you think cycling is good cardio? Anything can be good cardio. If you're able to maintain the intensity that you need, then yeah, anything could be good cardio. Assault bike could be good cardio. Rowing could be good cardio. You know? Is 1 gram per protein body weight debunked for muscle growth? Can we get away with less? If you're in a calorie surplus, you can get away with less. If you're in a deficit, then you need to have the 1 gram. Is training legs once a week enough to get a bit of growth and have it look proportional to upper body? If you're doing upper body 4 times per week and legs once, it's not going to be proportional. Jomar, if you say if you want to get lean, you need to get into a dietary calorie surplus. It's deficit, not a surplus. Martine, I've gotten a lot better at boxing and drumming. Athletic style training has been an amazing assistance. That's great to hear. Do you regret leaving PT school? No, I have a fantastic life. I have amazing freedom. I'm my own boss, and it's all thanks to God. So no. Thoughts on ab wheel rollouts? It's a good anti-extension exercise. I think it's a bit difficult to progress, but it's a good core stability exercise. Yo, Martine, I remember watching you a lot back in the days. Keep up the good work. Appreciate it. Share is sure thing bothering me. All right. So if I run 5K and do rowing and some sprints, am I good for cardio? That's not a plan. That's just exercises. 5K is also not going to be like, how are you doing the 5Ks? Like you're kind of all over the place. Like you don't have a plan for that. How do I get good at making adjustments to my program based on my training metrics like sleep, stretch, HRV? You just adjust based on what you're given. I'm a bit confused how to answer that question. Like, how do I get good at adjusting? Like you see what your progress is and then you make the adjustments based on what you see. Are you able to legally call yourself an athlete? What is it illegal to call? I've never called myself an athlete, but is it illegal to call yourself an athlete? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Do you think that if a person's knee got injured and now got a cast, do you think he would work out his upper body too? I don't understand what you mean by that question. Tips on easing back into running after not doing so. Would you recommend a light jog at first, or any thoughts? Just lower volume, lower intensity, and then progress up slowly versus just going crazy at the beginning. Like start light, lower volume, and then build up. Yeah, you're under arrest for impersonating an athlete. Yeah. What are the utility of planks? Like, what is their place? What goals would they be best fulfill? So planks would be best for core stability. They would be best for improving anti-extension core stability, so resisting extension, which is very beneficial for force transfer, of course, because if your core is weak, then you're not able to produce or generate as much force. There'd be a lot of force leakage or energy leakage. Hey, bro, I'm trying to become a pro boxer. I do 6 skill sessions a week. How many times should I do strength and conditioning per week? And what split to get stronger without compressing my skill work? Thanks. It depends. Like, it's so difficult to answer those questions because it depends on what your training schedule looks like, what your recovery looks like, what your goal is. And I would say the best thing to do is to book a call with me, and we can go over how I would help you out. I'm gonna leave a link here. Um, if you are from the U.S., UK, Australia, or Canada, you can book a call. If you're not, then I cannot work with you. Could you make a video on managing both kickboxing and hypertrophy training? I literally just made a video today. I just posted it, and also I have a framework in my free community on how to balance combat sports with hypertrophy training. So I'll leave a link to my free community as well. So be sure to join that. And sprints for anaerobic capacity. Okay. Why did your editing get worse? Back then, your videos were more fast-paced and entertaining. I get your goal might be to inform rather than entertain, but this has hurt your views and reach more people. Because my goal isn't to reach more people. My goal is to reach the right people. If people don't want to watch my videos because it's not entertaining, then I don't want them watching my videos anyways. I want people watching my videos because they want to learn and they enjoy my stuff, not because they want a dopamine spike. What's your resting heart rate and what does the lower one help with? I believe mine is like 60, maybe like upper 50s, like lower 60s is where it roughly goes to mostly. Resting heart rate, it just is a indication of your aerobic system, pretty much, like how strong your heart is. Stronger heart equals that you're better able to recover, that your obviously aerobic fitness is going to be better, so better recovery, better endurance. I think a lower resting heart rate doesn't help with, like, I wouldn't see it like, what does it help with? It's like, it's a result of your training pretty much. But I mean, for the most part, it's your heart is more efficient at pumping blood. And so you're able to get oxygen and blood to your muscles more efficiently. I remember Mario saying that you shouldn't train abs and just do heavy lifts. Do you disagree with him, or have your guys' fitness idol evolved? You can train abs if you want to. If you want to optimize development of your abs, then you want to train them as well as do heavy compound lifts. Why not do both? Do you think the best way to build arms is to hit them with compound lifts and then add isolation to them? Pretty much, yeah. I would say so. For most muscles, the best way to develop them is to do both isolation and compound lifts. Get the benefits from both. My boxing coach told me if I have a lethal body, I can become a really good boxer. That's what I'm trying to do because I'm super smart in boxing. It's not really about the body. It's about you just build physical qualities that help you with your skills. Like, I think people think that strength and conditioning makes a lot more of an impact than it actually does, when in reality, strength and conditioning really just like allows you to meet the demands of your sport. It's like not that crazy. Like, power, for example, is so genetic. Like, I could train power all day long, but I would never be as powerful as LeBron. And there's a point of diminishing returns to where it's like not really worth the effort. I have the same question about planks, but this time for push-ups and lunges. What is their utility? Push-ups, you get stronger at pushing. Lunges, you get stronger legs. What made you guys turn to God, and what are some ways to start building a relationship? Well, I've always been Catholic, but I was more of a lukewarm Catholic. I was dealing with stress, and my brother Mario was starting to go to church more, and so he kind of brought me in. And a good way to start building a relationship with God is I found that joining Catholic groups was really beneficial because you're around other people who also take their faith seriously. And then, of course, OCIA was big. And yeah, those were probably the main things for me was that stuff. I think like being involved in religious groups is really beneficial. What pre-workout should I take? And are caffeine pills a good option? Well, caffeine pills will just give you caffeine. What pre-workout should you take? I'm not really sure. I haven't been taking pre-workout for a bit. Martina, I start feeling really fatigued and exhausted if I do 3 to 4 wrestling sessions a week. Is 3 to 4 sessions enough to make good progress? Of wrestling, I'm not a MMA coach, so that's not going to be. I'm not going to be the best person to answer that question. No, I do YouTube full time. I've been doing it full time for like 3 years. Will going on a long walk after a hard leg day meaningfully affect gains? No, you'll be fine. If it's not a high intensity, then no. Like if you're over here doing like a max 5K and stuff, it's like okay, well then yeah, I probably would. But if you're doing a long like low intensity walk, you're fine. Martin, do you think if a person's leg got injured but he can still work out his upper body, what would happen? He would just build upper body mass. Um, can I run even though I'm awake at 5 a.m. Right now? Even though I don't understand that question. Is the gray zone real for cardio? Yeah, like zone 2 work and threshold are the best. Martin, my squat is much weaker than my bench and deadlift. I've tried improving my technique, adding lower body muscle, and fixing weak points, but it still won't catch up. What's your suggestion? I'm fixing weak points. Try like other variations, like pause squats, stuff like that. Like trying a different variation for a little bit would be good. Still a squat, but like trying different variations. Do you think people should train martial arts for self-defense? I think it's a good skill to learn. Yeah. What would you recommend beginners bulking or cutting or maintaining? That's all three options, so I'm not really sure how to answer that. Where do you get your outfits from? This is from my high school varsity soccer. So also be sure to join my free community. That's going to be the best place to learn more about my training philosophy and hopefully help you reach your fitness goals. So be sure to join my free community. Well, isolating my triceps really makes much of a difference gains wise if I'm doing a bunch of pushing movements. Probably, yeah, especially because the long head of the triceps isn't going to be hit well during your presses. Is it okay to pair sport skills training and conditioning on the same day? I'm confused what you mean by is it okay? Like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, because it's difficult. Also, like, it would be ideal if I knew like high intensity skills training or whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want, but like, is some things optimal or something's not optimal? It's kind of how it works. Yo, dude, help me out. All my joints hurt, my elbows, my knees, especially my wrist. Like, I always wanted to learn how to handstand, but wrists hurt bad. Any suggestions? You should get help with that and someone who knows what they're doing. Um, Trying to figure that out on your own is not going to be a good solution for that. Do you think France wins the World Cup? I think England will win the World Cup. Do you track your calories, just your macros? I kind of know what I need to eat, so I don't really track anything. I kind of just enjoy my life pretty much. I don't really take it that serious. Whenever I step on the mat, my adrenaline spikes and I get too aggressive. Any tips to stay calm and control my nerves before a match? Meditation would be good. Also, like just basic mindset stuff. Like that's also like this is not a mindset channel to some degree, so it may not be the best place to ask. But like meditation, understanding how to deal with your emotions, like those little things like that. Can you make a full day of eating short? Well, I do mostly posture content now, so that wouldn't really align with what I'm doing. Hey, Martine, I'm ectomorph. Can I do hypertrophy and aerobic base together? I don't understand what being an ectomorph would change with that. But if you're a beginner, you can. Intermediate to advanced, you're going to most likely need to separate. Thoughts on dynamic stretching before and static stretching after your workout? I think static stretching is a waste of time. So. As a pitcher in baseball, max intensity throws are a thing I need to throw harder. I also want to train plyo jump sprints and lift hard in the same program, but I don't know how to program that. Do you have a question? I want to train. You can do a lot of things at the same time, but some things have to take a back seat. Are wide grip dips and shoulder width military press sufficient for overall tricep height? Why wouldn't wide grip dips would be more chest. I also wouldn't pick a military press to hit the triceps. I would pick isolation work to hit the triceps. If you could go back to when you and your brother first started posting and made your accounts, what would you change about the videos and content you all talked about? I wouldn't change anything because I feel like everything happens for a reason, and it put me into the position I am today. What made you narrow down your content niche to only posture instead of general fitness / athletic bodybuilding? I do a little bit more general fitness, but my content was a little bit all over the place. I'm also a lot more passionate about that, but more general fitness and posture is what I do. But I've also like I'm more seeing myself as a coach rather than a content creator now. It's pretty much why I did that, and it's just also my passion as well. Yeah. Who's better, Mbappe or Yamal? Yamal is better, I think. What does Zarkpoint need to incorporate their training besides strength and endurance training? Well, plyometrics, skills training. Yeah, it's a very broad question, so again, hard to answer that. But I'd at least do plyometrics. Is there a dynamic stretching routine I can find from you or Mario? I don't believe so, but honestly, like for me, just doing breathing resets and going and doing the lift I'm about to do and maybe some movement prep at times is all I need. Why do you think posture training is so important? I believe posture training is so important because a lot of people don't have proper posture, and whenever you have proper posture, you're able to breathe to the best of your ability. And when you're able to breathe to the best of your ability, you're able to move better and you feel better, and you can maximize your athleticism because your body's going to prioritize breathing because it's needed for survival. So if you're not breathing to the best of your ability, then your rest of your energy or body systems won't be working to the best of their ability either. If you want to learn a little bit more about posture, be sure to join my free community. That'll be a good place to learn about that. All right. My body fat is around 20%. Every time I try to cut below that, my energy, strength, and sleep take a hit. Is it just my head, and should I keep cutting, or could 22% just be where my body is naturally? If you're crashing, your macros are probably not good. For the picture thing, I ran out of words. My question is, could I realistically do all those and get gains in the same high intent day and have low intent days around that, or how do I do it in a week? If you're trying to train everything at once, you're not going to see great results unless you're a beginner because you don't need that much volume or intensity. But once you're more advanced, you need a higher volume and higher intensity to see improvements, and then you need to balance it better. Yamal's been mid this World Cup. Yeah, he's coming back from an injury, but can posture training counteract sitting at a desk for 8+ hours a day? Well, you should be moving around regardless. But it can help counteract that stuff. Yeah, but you need to just get a more varied movement would be where I would start. I've been doing barbell back squats for some time, but always bad at them. Best I could do is 7 kg, but in Bulgarians I can do like 60 kg per leg. What's the reason for this? Could be your technique, could be your training plan. I'm not really sure. It's hard to answer that one over message. How should athletes train if they only do it 2 times per week? Depends what area of the season you're in. It depends what your weaknesses are, strengths are, that kind of stuff. I have shoulder pain when benching. I do external rotator cuff exercises and warm-ups for my press movements when my shoulder dies. Do you have a question with that one? Because that one could be a lack of mobility, but I would book a call with me if you really want to get help with that. So those kind of stuff, you need someone with you to help you out. So I will leave a link to book a call. How can I build a bigger chest as a thin guy? Train chest hard. You know, I feel like people are looking for the secret sauce, secret method. It's about training chest and training it hard. Do pull-ups grow the long head of the bicep or would isolation work be needed for hypertrophy? If you're thinking about long head, short head of the bicep, I think you're not thinking of training the right way. Just think movements and then everything else follows. Are chest flies really all that important since it isn't a foundational human movement? Well, if you want to maximize muscular development, then chest flies are good. If chest is a weak point, then do that. If your chest is weak, you need to isolate it. You know, but what I could answer that better if you tell me what your goal is. Like, is it important for a bodybuilder? Of course, right? Is it important for an athlete? I don't know, maybe not. How'd you get your teeth so white? I got it whitened one time, and then I use just like whitening strips at times, but I don't really do it as much anymore. But I got it whitened at my gym. They had like a clinic or something, and I just did it one time. How many hours a week do you work, and what do you do in your free time? I don't work that much, to be honest. I don't know how I don't have like a number for that. But what I do in my free time, I like to hang out with my friends and do like active activities. So like today's Friday. Yeah, Wednesday I played soccer, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go play volleyball. So what products do you use for your hair? It looks clean. Appreciate it. I just use conditioner. I literally don't use any products. What age do you think is ideal to get married for Christians? When God thinks that you should. Is it okay if I start my push day with a tricep exercise instead of a chest press movement if I want to prioritize tricep growth, or is it just going to mess up my whole workout? If tricep growth is your priority, then by all means start off with a tricep exercise. You can structure workouts either by priority or by most fatiguing lifts, whichever one fits your goals best. I'm trying to train more like an athlete/fighter, so I suppose chest flies isn't all that important. It's not that important, but if you want to, by all means, you can add it in. Just find space for it. What is your opinion about look smackers? Do you think look smackers are overcompensating, compensating for the insecurities? Yeah, they 100% are. There's a difference between trying to look good and take care of yourself and also like putting your whole identity into what you look like. You know, God made you the way you are for a reason, and so you should love yourself for the way that God made you. God made you perfect. Hey Martin, I plan to study sports and exercise science soon, and remember you saying that you used to study in the past. Well, I have a degree in it, yeah. Um, would you say it's difficult at all? No, I was not the best student, and it was fine. So if I want to prioritize a muscle, should I start my workout with that muscle? Yeah, 100% should. What's your opinion on flexible dieting for athletes versus eating only whole natural foods? Which approach do you think is better for performance and long-term health? Well, they're different. For performance, adding in some processed carbs is going to be beneficial, but long-term health, it's not going to be ideal. Like performance and long-term health are different. Like for eating for performance and eating for long-term health, they're different things. All right, probably gonna stream for about 10 more minutes. Guys, join my free community. That's going to be the best place to learn more and to ask questions. So be sure to join the free community. Does eating a lot of protein on days you don't work out, would it still help with building muscle or not? Well, you should be eating the same amount of protein every day. You shouldn't be eating more just because you're training and eating less because you're not. Would a beginner in the first 2 months still get a gains on a cut? I mean, newbie gains, yeah, you probably would. Yep, you're welcome. What's your favorite part about studying exercise science? Honestly, I don't really feel like I learned that much from university. I learned more outside of university. Do you play video games? Sometimes. If your strength training is focused on movements instead of muscles, when doing isolation work, is it better to do it in supersets or separate? Supersets are just a tool to make your workouts more efficient. They're not better or worse than straight sets. Have you ever gotten your vertical measured? No, I'm not. I took a month off from squatting, and on my first day back, I could still handle the same weight in terms of reps and range of motion and everything, but I noticed pinching in my right lat and lower back pain afterwards. Is it possible my spinal muscles atrophied at a different rate than my legs? But that wouldn't be called atrophy. Wouldn't cause pinching though. Best things for posture. Um, breathing drills, training with respect to your movement. Yeah. I'll play soccer. What are the best splits for Monday through Friday lifting weights? But what's your goal though with lifting weights? You plan on making more long form videos? Yes, I'm gonna get back to doing that. But more educational, less dopamine hitting, just like giving people advice. How do I get my first pull up? Try and do as many pull-ups as you can. It's like you get better at what you do. So like band assisted pull-ups could be a good start. Knee and lat pull downs would be a good start as well. Is body recomposition a realistic diet training plan? Why isn't it talked about more? Because body recomposition is kind of dumb. It's like, what are you trying to lose weight? Or trying to gain muscle? It's like, I think you're kind of just in between two areas there. Which one should you be doing? Partial range of motion or full? Probably full, but I don't know what your goal is. My friend of mine is going to join the gym soon. What are the best pieces of advice you think I can give him? Best piece of advice is um, to have the identity of someone who's in shape and to have fun. Bro, I'm not answering that question. What do you think about bananas and honey for pre-workouts? Good, you get your carbs, but protein is also important pre-workout as well. So make sure you're having a little bit of protein as well. Just keep fat low. Yeah, dude, that's like just ask a normal question. All right, gonna be streaming for like 5 more minutes, guys. So be sure to join my free community to continue the discussion after the stream. Who's your favorite footballer? Moises Caicedo. Why are my forearms growing? See, like I can't answer that question unless I see what your plan is, what you've been doing, like volume, intensity, you know. Stability gains. What do you mean by stability gains? Why are you just live on YouTube and never TikTok? Is anything else? What do you mean is anything else? I also don't really care about TikTok. Like TikTok has people who are just freaking like really like young kids and stuff that like aren't gonna ask me legitimate fitness questions and stuff. And I'd rather like talk to a more like mature audience who wants to learn. Pretty much is what it boils down to. How do I make sure I don't injure my wrist on heavy lifts like bench press or overhead press? You want to make sure that you stack your wrist over your elbow. Like you don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. Like stack the wrist over the elbow. Wrist on top of elbow. Is it okay to do pull-ups on a machine if I'm a newbie to build some strength? I see. I don't understand what you mean by is it okay? Like, do you need my permission? If like just do vertical pulls, you know, like I guess it's okay. Like I'm a little confused by that questioning. But like you can do whatever you want. If you want to do pull-ups, assisted pull-ups to build some strength, then go ahead and do that. Would you ever do collaborations with other creators? I don't really know why I would. Um, yeah, it's not something I plan on doing. I don't know if I would or wouldn't. Will you be watching McGregor tomorrow? Yes. Who do you have winning? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I feel like UFC has just gone downhill. What's the best angle for doing bent over rows? Just try and get like as parallel as you can to the ground, pretty much. But if you want more like upper trap work, then be more upright. But All right, going to wrap it up here because I've been streaming for an hour. Yeah, so I plan on streaming more on Thursdays. I just had something yesterday. So be sure to join my streams again Thursdays at around the same time as roughly when I'm going to be streaming. So see you guys later.